What are these wooden sticks about 6 inches long with various angled grooves? I found it in an elderly woman's possessions in Durham, England. There are B and C clearly inscribed, as well as what appears to be H and H kind of crudely scratched on one side. Possibly the initials of previous owners, but I have no additional info. They seem to have 2 different styles of heads, one that looks round and the other is more hook-like. Does anyone ever come across one of these before? They are knitting sheaths from the early 1800s. From the 3rd century Egypt up until the 19th century, knitting at home was a necessity rather than the pastime it has become today. It's a way for both men and women to generate income in the home. However, during the heyday of home knitting, the sheath was a tool of great efficiency. The end of one needle would be fitted into the hole at one end of the sheath, which would then be tucked into a pocket or a belt on the right side of the knitter's waist. It gave the knitter greater control of the yarn and its tension, as the hand would be independent of the needle, and it freed up the right hand between stitches to aid in multitasking around the home without the need to sit or put your knitting down. Indeed, in the north of England, miners used to use their daily and often long walk to and from work to knit socks for a little extra income. Many men would carve their own, or carve one as a love token, including initials, quotes, and personalized decoration. Unfortunately, by the beginning of the 20th century, knitting sheaths were largely disregarded and disposed of. However, outlying areas such as North Yorkshire and County Durham, away from centres of industry, saw the use of knitting sheaths thrive well into the 19th century. What is this, some kind of a wooden clamp with grooves in, just over 1 meter long? I can't tell the age of it, but it was either acquired in the UK or France. Any idea what this clamp would have been used for originally? It's an early 1800s bar clamp used in woodworking. Longer bar clamps are often called sash clamps. The movable jaw lets you adjust to hold different sized work, and the extra jaw is from another clamp. The screw provides the clamping force, usually with a small bit of sacrificial timber to prevent the round metal from marking the work. Modern ones are either all metal construction or a pair of metal jaws that fit to a wooden beam. What is this steel canister wrapped in wood attached to a tilting stand? Approximately 18 inches tall and 10 inches in diameter. It has a spring loop connected to the stand, a handle connected to the canister, and it's corked. The origin and age are unknown as it came with the house we bought. It looks quite old, and I could not remove the cork to smell inside. I did a Google image search and nada. Any ideas would be cool to hear. It's an antique Union Oil Company of California wood-encased oil drum. The company was a major petroleum explorer and marketer in the late 19th century through the 20th century. It was founded on October 17, 1890, in Santa Paula, California. What is this metal thing embedded in the sidewalk of a city park? The park was created in 1900, but I'm assuming the sidewalk came later. About 5 inches long, loosely in the shape of a gun, and possibly says Federal Seaport. We are not located on the coast, but we do have a river port, about 2 miles from this park. I'd be curious as to what it is, and also how and why it ended up in a sidewalk. It's a No. 1 Federal Kilgore cast iron cap gun. They were made in the 20s by the Federal Buster Corporation of Homestead and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it's been there for probably 100 years. This might be the coolest thing I've seen here, and that is saying a lot. These were given to us for free at a bar as a complimentary snack in Catania, Sicily. It tastes slightly meaty, and the skin appears to slide right off. What is it? They are lupin beans, or lupini beans. They are traditionally eaten as a pickled snack food, primarily in the Mediterranean basin, Latin America, and North Africa. The most ancient evidence of lupin is from ancient Egypt. Seeds of this species were retrieved in the tombs dated back to the 22nd century BC. These were eaten by the Egyptians as a snack anytime during the Sham el Nassim festival, which is a national festival in Egypt whose history goes back to ancient Egyptian times. I found this in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in the mid-1990s. I was picking up rocks and shells and skipping them across the water in about waist-deep water when I pulled this up. Any ideas? It's not a rock actually. It's a bivalve fossil. I have a few in my collection. Most people think they're fossilized turtle heads though. For some reason the beaches here in the Carolinas, especially the Myrtle Beach area, have these massive underwater fossil beds of these bivalve clam-type creatures right off the coast. So when they re-nourish the beaches, tons of these wash up. I was given a few as a kid and told they were turtle heads, which naturally sparked a lifelong love of fossil hunting and rock hounding. And it wasn't until I was in school for archaeology that I actually found out they were clams. What is this metal object hanging above the stairs in the new house? It looks almost like a representation of a harp or column, around 5.5 by 3 by 3 inches. What is it used for? It's a 1920s cast iron receipt holder to be hung on the wall. These were used in Victorian times through the 1930s, when bills of receipt were handwritten. I have used them around my office for years. They are great for holding rolls of tape or ribbon as well. I got this bowl when my grandma's friend passed away. I've used it nearly every day for years and was curious if anyone recognizes the brand. I'm pretty sure she spent most of her life in Japan. Thank you so very much in advance for any and all help with this thing. It's a Japanese World War II military bowl. I've seen that exact stamp on other World War II Japanese military stuff related to eating utensils. Here's for a Japanese army officer's mess kit. And here's another one from a different site. What is this antique paddle thingamy? My mum passed away recently, and this was in her possessions. This is just a flat wooden thing without any head on it, and I think it's too blunt-ended and big to be a paper knife. Any suggestions? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.